Okay, so I randomly decided to vlog my trip to Chicago. But I haven't started packing yet, and I have to go pick up the rental car in like an hour, so I'm gonna start packing. Hi. Alright, it's gonna be really hard to hear and see me because I'm in my car and it's 6 in the morning. But I just fucking woke up, and we did get the rental car last night after some struggle. But we got the rental car and everything's fine. However, I set my alarm. I was supposed to wake up at like 4:30, get to my parents' house so I could eat breakfast at 5, and then we could leave at 6. I set my alarm for 4:30 p.m. So obviously I didn't wake up, and here it is 6 a.m. and this is when we were supposed to leave for Chicago. But I'm a little stressing because the person I'm picking up a ticket from has VIP at 4:45, I think. And so I'm probably gonna have to like literally show up in Chicago, run to the venue in my sweatpants, and get the ticket from her, and then go get ready and then go back to the venue. So we're doing great, ladies. We are doing great. We're gonna keep up a good positive vibe though. We're gonna keep up some positive energy, and we're gonna manifest this shit working out, okay? Everything is gonna be fine. I'm gonna get my freaking ticket, and then I'm gonna go back to Mallory's house. I'm gonna get ready, and it'll be fine. It'll be fine. We'll do it. We're doing it. All right, we're in the rental car. I got my breakfast. I cried as soon as I got to my parents' house because I forgot to bring my brother his little mug. Like, I have one of his mugs at my house and I forgot to bring it, and so I started crying. And then I started crying about how I am gonna be late to Chicago. But you know, we got the negative energy out, we cried it out. We're gonna eat this breakfast and we're gonna get to Chicago. I think that I was just stressed out because my French toast, because this is the first ever trip that I've planned by myself, and I've already screwed it up by waking up late. But it's okay. We're learning. It's a learning curve. Everything will be fine.
It's the album, bruh.
You should fucking know this.
It's just the record.
Get it in your melon.
You never listened to the album, did you?
I heard it once or twice.
Yeah.
Hi. So, wow, my hair's a little messy, but we're gonna ignore that. I'm back from Chicago, and it might feel like there's kind of a weird gap in the video. Like, I think maybe the last thing I filmed was the concert, and then I think I filmed a little bit of like the drive home, like little snippets, but it might feel like there's kind of a lot like that I left out, or maybe there's a gap. And it's because there is, and I wanted to talk about it. So just to give you a little bit of a backstory, I planned this trip because All Time Low was doing, my favorite band, All Time Low, was doing an anniversary show of one of my favorite albums of theirs, Nothing Personal. And they're doing it in Chicago, so it's my favorite band, my favorite album, and one of my favorite cities that I've never had the chance to go to. So I thought, this is perfect. I just got out of this stupid breakup. I'm discovering myself, I'm learning, I'm growing. Why don't I go do this trip by myself? Maybe it'll be really healing and good for me, you know? And maybe that expectation caused it to go wrong a little bit. I went by myself. I mean, besides the fact that my brother went with me just so I would be safe because I was going to a new city by myself. But I went to the concert by myself, and it was really like a soul-searchy kind of thing. But it ended up being soul-searching in a different way than I expected it to be. The really big thing that happened was when I went to the concert, I wasn't enjoying it as much as I thought I would, and it had nothing to do with the band. It was just like I was having thoughts while I was in the crowd of like, God, is this what crowds are like? You know, it was so crowded and I couldn't see anything because I'm so tall, or because I'm so short. Like, it was so crowded that like I was, you know, it's how crowds are. Like, I feel like I sound like I'm complaining, and people are probably saying like, oh, well, have you been to a concert? Because that's what they're like. And like, I know I've been to concerts. But it's weird because those things usually don't like bother me, and I kind of feel like maybe they bothered me because I was by myself, and it really stopped me from like enjoying the concert because I was just trying so hard to get to Barricade so I could breathe. And it was just weird this time because I think it's because I was alone. It was like I noticed all of those things more. And then when they played Something's Gotta Give, when they play it, everyone finds somebody. Usually they get on their friend's shoulders, and they're on their friend's shoulders for the whole song. And I've always done that. I've always had somebody with me to get on their shoulders at an All Time Low concert. And this time I didn't, and it was really weird because Something's Gotta Give is one of my favorite songs, and it's always like a really cathartic experience being up there on somebody's shoulders and like screaming the lyrics of that song. And it was weird not having that. I was just kind of standing around listening to the song and bumping, which was still fine. And I don't know, I sound like I'm not complaining about anything, but it was like, I sound like I'm complaining for nothing, and I know that. It's hard to explain because it just felt a little like I couldn't enjoy it. And I don't know why. I've been to a concert by myself before. But like the happiest I was is when I was FaceTiming with Chloe because I was like, someone is enjoying this with me. I even cried during Sick Little Games because I was being pushed and shoved so much and everything. And then after the concert, I sat there and I tried to get a set list and didn't get a set list and whatever. And it was whatever, normal. I never had a set list. That's not a weird thing. It's fine. But after that, I just went to the bathroom and started bawling. Like I was shaking and crying, and it was a whole thing. And I called like 3 of my friends, and like I think I called 4, and only one of them answered. And so I talked to her, and she had talked me through it, and it was really nice. I think the way I explained it to her was that I was just upset that I didn't have a good time because I put so much energy into this trip, and I had such high expectations for how this trip was going to go. And that's probably why it didn't go as well. But it just sucks because I've been trying to push myself to do things by myself and like enjoy doing things by myself and enjoy my own company, and because I'm at a point in my life where I just don't have friends, and it sucks, and it's really hard to not blame yourself for that. But I'm just at a point in my life where I just got out of a relationship, and that relationship was my whole world, and that relationship started right out of high school. So all of my friends from high school, you know, went to other colleges and left, you know, and I just don't talk to them as much. But it was okay because I had this relationship to fall back on. And now this relationship is over and we're 3 years out of high school and I don't have any friends. And it's just a really weird time in my life. I feel like I'm going to make friends eventually, but it's just weird being in this spot and being where I am emotionally, going through this huge breakup, and this huge turning point in my life, and not having like a real support. I mean, I have my sister and I have my coworkers and stuff, and I still talk to people, and you know, I still have a social life, but it's weird to not have like a full support system, a group of friends, someone I could just go to their house and like hang out for a few hours, or drive around doing nothing but singing One Direction songs. Yeah, I don't have that, and I think I'm trying to convince myself that I'm okay with that. But I think I went a little too far with it, and I was trying to say I'm still okay with it, that I'll go to Chicago by myself and go see my favorite band by myself and enjoy it by myself. And I really thought that that was going to be fulfilling enough. And not to say that, you know, obviously the band put on a great show, and I got to meet Alex and hug him, and that was amazing. And like, I'm not saying the concert wasn't amazing, but it was just like missing something, you know? And I think that I was missing a friend, or, you know, someone to share it with. And it sucks because it's like, it feels like the universe, I explained this to my friend, it feels like the universe is telling me, you need to stop being so dependent on people, you need to find joy in yourself. And so I said, okay, I'm gonna go to this concert by myself. Here you go, universe. And then the universe was like, no, you can't enjoy being by yourself. You need friends, you need people in your life. And so it's like, I guess I'm just working on finding the balance between those two things, and trying to teach myself that it is okay to be by yourself and do things by yourself and enjoy your own company. But you also do need friends. And it's been hard knowing that I don't have those friends right now. I have people I can talk to right now, and I know that. But it's different when I don't have like my best friend with me anymore. I don't have that one person, or even those few people that I'm close with. You know, I have people that I can talk to, but I don't have people that are mine, my friends, my group, my people. The way I've explained it to my therapist is my arm span, my reach goes to here, and it feels like everyone I know is like right here. So they're like, I don't know if that makes sense in video form, but it's like they're right out of my reach. You know, everyone is that far away from me. They're just out of reach, and no matter how far I lean, they stay the same distance away. I just don't feel like I have anyone that's like right here, if that makes sense. I'm a very visual person, so I explain things in a visual way. I just don't, point is, I don't feel like I have anybody that's close to me anymore. And that makes sense. I did just lose somebody that was very close to me for a long time. I did just lose them, so it makes sense to feel like I'm alone, or feel like I don't have anyone close to me anymore. But it's something I'm gonna have to push through. And I learned from this trip that I don't need to push too hard through this. I need to push through it, for sure, but I don't need to be pushing so hard that I'm traveling to a different city by myself to prove that I can be by myself. All I need to do is learn how to be. You know, just learn how to exist and be comfortable with who I am. Accept myself as I am, while still growing, of course. Hello, spoons. And learn that friends will come and go as I grow as a person. And it's okay to be upset about the fact that I was there by myself. It's okay to be upset about the fact that I don't have friends right now. It's okay to just feel how I feel and be how I am. Maybe I had to travel 500 miles to learn that, but I learned it, and so I just hope that I continue to practice not being so hard on myself for not having friends, and not pushing myself too hard to be better. Everything takes time. I will get there when I get there, and that is okay. So really quick, I did want to talk about some of the really cool things that happened in Chicago, because I know I just talked about my mental breakdown and everything, and probably made the trip sound like it was really bad, But I did want to acknowledge a lot of the good things that happened, because there were a lot of really cool things that happened. So I did want to mention that I met these like 4 girls in line for the show. They were just really, really nice. I think their names were Sydney, Emma, Greta, and Marlena. One of them was 13, and it was her first concert, and it was so cute. But yeah, they were all really, really cool, and they all followed me on Twitter, and it was dope. They're cool. If they happen to watch this, hello, you guys were dope. Thank you so much for letting me stay with you in line. I really hope you enjoyed the show, and I'm sorry about the mental breakdown that you're watching right now. And then also after the show, you know, obviously I like went and cried in the bathroom of the House of Blues. Then I went to go get some water from the bar, and I was still visibly crying and shaking. And so I was just sitting down drinking my water, and like 3 different staff members came up to me from the House of Blues asking me if I'm okay. Like one of them was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." Like literally crying, like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And he was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And he was like, "Are you sure though?" And I was like, "Yeah." And like that went on for like a while. And he was really, really nice. And he was like, "Are you sure you're okay? Is there anything you need from me? Are you sure there's nothing you need me to do?" Like he was so nice. And then while I was waiting in line for merch, there were these 2 women who saw me crying, asked me if I was okay, you know, and I was like, "It's fine." And they were like, "Is this about a boy?" And I was like, "A little bit." And they just started going off about like, "Don't let anybody fuck with you." Like, it was so funny, and like, they just like really made me laugh to cheer me up, and that was great. And then one man was there watching this whole interaction, and he was like, "Are you okay?" And, you know, same thing. Like, I was like, "I'm fine." And he heard that it was about a relationship, sort of, and so he told me this story about his relationship, and it was so nice. Just that he was willing to stand there and talk with me at all, but the fact that he went above and beyond. He sat there and told me about his last relationship and the complications that it had. It lasted 8 years. He was just really, really nice, and, you know, told me that I really am going to get through this. I'm so young. I have so much life left to live. And he was so nice. And then afterwards, after I bought my merch, he stayed with me literally until my brother came to pick me up. And he had other friends with him, and he had plans. Like, he was like gonna go drink with his friends and like get a tattoo. And he was like, "No, it's fine. I'll wait with you until your brother gets here." And then he like stood there and like talked me through my breakup, and like just sang some like all-time low songs with me while we were waiting. And he was just so nice. And I appreciated it so much. Like, it made me feel a lot less alone. And then also, while I was standing there waiting with him, he just like randomly started walking across the street, and I was like, "Why are you walking across the street? Okay, I guess we're done. See ya." And then I saw who he was walking to, and he was literally walking towards Alex Gaskarth. And then I heard him say, "Oh, hi, Alex." And I was like, "Oh, hello." So like, and this was, mind you, right after I just finished crying. So like, probably still pretty obvious that I had been crying. And I go up to him, literally probably looked just like this, dead, wearing this hoodie, you know. And I go up to him, and like, there's like 5 people around him all talking at once, and you know, that's how it is, and that's fine. And he seemed like he was in a rush, and I was like, "Oh man, I might not get to say hi." And then as he's walking away, I just kind of gestured like this, kind of like asking for a hug. And he gave me a hug, and I just went, "Thank you, thank you." There was like this weird pause where he didn't like say anything back, probably because he didn't really get why he was being thanked. And then he said, "Of course." And like, it was a really genuine "of course." That sounded sarcastic. He was like, "Of course." And I was like, because it's like, I had just had such a bad night, and he was the only good part of my night besides this guy that was staying with me, you know, and hanging out with me. He was the only good part of my night besides that. And so the fact that I got to hug him and say thank you for being the good part of my night, and like just being there my whole life, you know, it was just really, really nice. So I just wanted to acknowledge that there actually were really great parts of my trip, and I really did learn a lot, and I really did have a good time. It's just really hard. It's hard to say, like, if somebody were to ask me, "How's your trip?" It would be hard for me to say, "Oh, it was good." or oh, it was great. You know, everybody's expecting like, oh my God, I had so much fun. And that's not really what the trip was. It was important for me to do. But that's weird to say when somebody's just saying like, hey, how was your trip? So I'm probably just gonna have to be like, it was good, thanks, you know, and then tell them some funny anecdotal story about that trucker that flipped me off on the way. Just wanted to make a note of that because I really did have a good time. There were just really, it was a very like, there were really high moments and really low moments. But that's life, you know. Thank you for watching this if you did. I'm sorry that it turned into whatever. Hope you enjoyed any of it. Also, I'm really working on the editing and stuff. I haven't even started editing, but I'm sure that it's going to turn out kind of weird, so sorry in advance, but thank you for watching this if you did. You're awesome. Thank you for listening to me ramble about my feelings. And I hope you are doing well. Whatever's going on in your life, I hope that you are learning and growing and accepting yourself along the way.